What's going on, AFL? This is the moment that you have all been waiting for. We've been counting down to this moment as we turn the page to Madden 17. We've had a couple weeks now to put Madden 16 in the rearview mirror. We've been talking about this night on the Facebook page for a couple of weeks, and tonight we get the answers to all of the questions. Guys, it's going to be a pretty fun show. We have an action-packed show, and we're going to try to keep it as organized as possible. So it'd be really nice if my PowerPoint would work. There we go. So what we're going to cover tonight is we are going to tell you the 32 owners who are going to be part of AFL 17. Unfortunately, not everybody made the cut, and we do have some snubs we're going to get into a little later on. After we get through the 32 owners, we are going to tell you how the team selection process for AFL 17 will work. We have a rule change regarding rosters we're going to get into. And I teased this. Will someone get a team tonight? Yes, somebody will get a team tonight. So just stay tuned for that, but it's going to come near the end of the show. So with all of that being said, let's say hello to the host of the show. I am Josh, for those that don't know. If you don't know, you're probably not getting a team. Let's just throw it out there. The guys laughing in the background, for one, is Stokes. What's going on, Stokes?
Shoot.
Magik is back. For those of you who are part of AFL Restart, Magik wasn't in the league, but he was on podcasts from time to time. He's a frequent podcast contributor, probably next to me, the guy that's on podcasts the most, dating all the way back to Madden 12. Magik, you get ready to get that Madden fire going again?
Oh, yeah, definitely ready now that it's July and NBA is over. There's nothing going on. I'm all about Madden now.
NBA is also over for next year, for those that don't know. And RVD, what's going on, RVD?
Not much. Glad to be out of the hospital.
Yeah, I heard about that. Everything good?
Everything's good.
All right, good to go. RVD also is a longtime AFL vet, longtime AFL commish, did step away shortly after Restart started. And guys, I am looking forward to this. We haven't all been on the team selection show, actually, at all together. This is an owner selection show, excuse me. First team selection show was back in Madden 12, and that was Ridge instead of Stokes. So the personality was a little bit better, but we do what we can.
Whoa.
Let's not waste any time, fellas. Let's get in to the 32 guys who made the cut for AFL Madden 17. Are you guys nervous? Magik, you feeling a little nervous over there? You think you made the cut?
I mean, it would be really awkward if I didn't.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Wouldn't that be great if we just lopped one of you guys off and didn't even tell you?
Oh, well, I know it's not me, so it's all good.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
I'm the man, 100 grand.
All right, well, Stokes apparently was onto something, because the first owner to talk about for AFL Madden 17 is our guy Stokes. The C next to his name means he is a commissioner. You're going to see some information on these guys tonight. The name is the name they go by on Facebook, because some of you may not know the nicknames if you're newer to the league. I didn't put the last names on there because these are going to be on YouTube, and I really don't want to put guys' first names on there. Some of you can probably figure out that the S stands for Stokes. Stokes joined us in Madden 12.
You're cutting out a bit. You sounded a bit choppy.
Choppy?
Sorry.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you were.
Well, let's see what's going on here. We'll slow it down a little bit. We'll kill some time here because we definitely want to make sure guys are getting the information they need. You guys can still hear me good?
You sounded like Michael Jackson in the video at Back to the Future.
Uh-oh.
Would you like some Pepsi?
Does it sound better now?
Yes.
All right. Well, here's what we're going to do, guys. This is going to all go on the podcast, but I want to make sure that guys can hear what's going on. So I'm just going to give it a few minutes and see if guys start complaining on the chat. So let's see. Danny's...
You might have been talking too fast for the podcast.
Stream was skipping for everyone now, but seems okay. All right. So Nino says things are good. All right, we're gonna assume everything's good. It all should also be on the archives. But anyway, Stokes, you made the cut. Congratulations. I was just going through what the information means here. I do have everybody's Facebook name on here. I did just put the initial for the last name for some privacy purposes because these videos do go up on YouTube. Stokes joined AFL in Madden 12. His favorite NFL team is the Bills. Holla! Congratulations, Stokes. Seven-time Super Bowl champion. You made the cut. Not much to say there. Nobody wants to hear about it. Not much of a surprise. The next commissioner we're going to talk about is RVD. Trevor on Facebook joined us since Madden 11. Since the outset, his favorite NFL team is the Packers. Congratulations, RVD.
Thank you.
Magik makes the cut. Anthony R on Facebook, also with us since the beginning, doesn't have a favorite team unless it has been updated because Peyton Manning retired last year, which leaves Magik without an NFL home. Magik, you're not a big fan of rooting for laundry, are you?
Not even the least. If we have 2 hours to kill, we could talk about that, though. Oh, I am sad, though, that Peyton retired.
I think that's something you and Nino probably have in common. I know Nino's a big Peyton Manning honk, so you guys could talk about that on your little side sessions. And then the fourth commissioner is the lovely voice you're hearing right now, Josh, a 2-time Super Bowl champion. Have I brought that up, Stokes?
Wait, you won a Super Bowl?
I won 2.
What?
The highlights of the last one are on YouTube. I totally recommend you all look at it. I watched it 17 times on my drive down to Florida, killed some serious time. Still can't believe KJ went for that PA wide receiver in. And my name is Josh, obviously. Been here since the beginning, and my favorite team is the Bills. And guys, from this point on, here comes the rest of the owners. I do want to stress, the commissioners were obviously the first 4. The rest of the list is in a completely random order. So don't think that the next name I show you is the highest rated owner or the lowest rated owner. I totally just randomized this list. It's not alphabetical. It's not anything. It's just a random order.
We ranked you guys in terms of favorites. Who's first?
Well, you're going to know the favorite's not the first one because the first one is the birthday boy, Roman. Roman makes it to Madden 15. He's a Dallas Cowboy, or Madden 17. He's been here since Madden 15. He's a Dallas Cowboys fan. And Stokes, this is a guy that joined us late in Madden 15, had to buy his way in to Madden 16. What's up, Nino? And once he got in, he turned himself into a very, very entertaining owner. One of the best streamers we have. Maybe he tends to cuss at his kids a little bit. But Stokes, this is a guy that wasn't even in consideration for not making the league.
No, not at all. He's a shoo-in. He's a great personality. He's great. He's obviously very active and. You know, he's a great addition to the league. Love having him here.
And just so you guys know, after every 8 owners, I'm going to have a recap list just in case you tuned in late and you're like, oh my God, did they see my name? Josh has you covered. Who's got you guys? Okay, so Roman makes the cut for Madden 17. The next guy we're going to talk about is CODY. CODY's been here since Madden 13 on and off. CODY may not even remember he was part of AFL in Madden 13. He had a brief stint as the Ravens, and then he got back into the AFL fold. I want to say in Madden 15, I was kind of hit or miss at that point. My wife was pregnant and I had some things going on, so I didn't have much to do with Madden 15. CODY is also an NFL fan free agent because he's a St. Louis Rams fan, and they are no longer the St. Louis Rams. They are the Los Angeles Rams. Stokes, another guy that has only been here really for a year or 2, but also wasn't in consideration.
He was the guy that generally would send me a text and ask me to get him in AFL, and a couple of times he burned me when I got him in the league. But this time he was really good and he was consistent, and glad that he got another chance and he made the best of it.
This guy really impressed me because at the beginning of AFL Restart, or maybe the beginning of Season 2, his house got robbed, his PlayStation got stolen, and I think we only had 1 season left, so it would have been Season 3, and he went out and bought a PlayStation just so he could stay. I'm not just so he could stay in. I'm sure he was going to use it for other things, but I mean,
we were a little bit too important.
We were just way too important. Yeah, he did it totally for AFL. So, good man, good owner, and happy to have him aboard. Next guy we're going to talk about is Cheese. Joe T on Facebook. Been with us since Madden 12 Season 1. His favorite NFL team is the Giants. Magik, this is a guy that makes being a commissioner very easy.
He doesn't cause problems in terms of getting his games in. He doesn't really cause fests that are like annoying fests where you have to stop in the middle of the day to baby him and pat him on the back and say, hey, it's okay, here's your milk. Don't cry when you go to bed tonight. And, he doesn't break rules. He gets his games in. He's pretty cool aside from being a Knicks fan.
Hey.
Nick's
Hey.
take. Yeah, you're never hunting him down trying to figure out why he hasn't contacted his opponent. You're really never hunting him down to find out why his game's unplayed. So an ideal owner, I call him an autopilot type owner because he's the kind of guy that if you had 32 of him, the commissioners could just stop doing their job and the league would be just fine. So love having Cheese around. He's back with us for Madden 17. Another guy that's an AFL original is Trump, William B. on Facebook, a 49ers fan. RVD, Trump's another guy kind of like Cheese, maybe not as active on Facebook, but just a guy that's reliable. He's a good general manager as far as building a team, and he's a guy that you never have to worry about.
Yeah, definitely not. I'd really put him on the list of one of the better general managers that we have. He really knows how to take a team and get good Madden players on it, get good guys all across the board, and he's always around when you need him. So definitely a good owner to have around for Madden 17.
And guys, that's a look at the first 8. I'm going to do this every 8 picks just in case you're coming in late. We had the 4 commissioners, Roman, Cody, Cheese, and Trump. Let's keep it moving. Lad Russo, Justin K on Facebook. Madden 25 was his AFL debut. He's a Bengals fan. RVD, another guy that's not super active on Facebook, even less active than Trump. But what I appreciate most about Lad Russo, and this is not going to be an insult even though it's going to come off as one, is any successful league needs guys who don't have the success on the field but stay active. And he's one of those guys that you can just count on that even when things aren't going his way, he doesn't disappear.
Yeah, definitely. Lad's a good owner. He's one of the ones he's not going to let you down. He's always going to be there. And honestly, I really respect this type of owner that can go out there, take a beating, and continue going. I'd take an owner like that over one that is only interested when they're winning. Definitely rather take an owner that can really take a beating and keep going.
All right, let's move on to the next owner here. Cheese Jr. Mark D on Facebook joined us Madden 16. His favorite NFL team is the Jets. Stokes, this guy was a pleasant surprise. We didn't even know he was Cheese's brother until they played and Cheese mic'd up for the game and we realized, hey, why is Cheese's daughter calling this guy Uncle Mark? But he turned out to be a real pleasant surprise. He does travel a bit. I think he might play college baseball. He travels a bit, but anytime he steps away, he's always letting us know what's going on. So we're never wondering like, hey, is he going to get his game in? We love that. And this guy was a real pleasant surprise.
Absolutely. He was a great addition to the league. I'm glad that Cheese recommended him to us, and I think he's going to do good things for the league. Good
detective work by us.
Yeah. Hey, that girl's calling him Uncle Mark. Maybe they're related. There's that Josh Spidey senses. All right, another guy that joined us. Well, he's actually been with us since Madden 15, had a couple seasons there, but was particularly active in Madden 16 and AFL Restart. Dan Q on Facebook. Favorite NFL team is the Miami Dolphins. Here's a guy that hasn't been around very long, and we can forgive the fact that he's a Dolphins fan because he's a really good owner. And he's only been here really as far as my experience with him is through AFL Restart. I know he's had a couple seasons here and there when I was away or, you know, in AFL 16, maybe the last year. But AFL Restart, this guy really impressed me. Never once did I have to track him down to find out if he was playing his game. He's always scheduling super flexible hours. I mean, this guy would play games at like 3 in the morning. It was fantastic, and I think he's a great addition to AFL. And Stokes, he's another guy that despite only being here for part of the previous Madden, wasn't even in the conversation for a guy that wouldn't make it.
Yeah, absolutely. He was extremely impressive in this short time, and you know, I'm glad that we were able to, you know, get a few of the guys from PS4, and you know, this is I'm really interested to see how he's going to do.
I mean, he's going to get a terrible team because he's a Dolphins fan in a league full of Bills fans, but he still made the cut, so we're not going to hold that against him.
Of course.
Stokes,
you guys really don't like the Dolphins?
No. The 8-time Super Bowl champion, Nino.
Why would you even need to preface it with that? Just say Nino. It's just Nino. That's all.
How many do you have again?
It's Nino, okay?
Hey,
we can move on to the next slide.
Combined, we have more than Nino because I have 2. If you guys didn't know, that's not 1 but 2. So with your 7, which is 1 less than Nino, we actually pass him up. So Josh is 2. Stokes is less than Nino, but with Josh's help, Stokes is actually better than Nino. So Stokes
all
plus...
the Bills fans have so many bowls in the AFL, and that's that's pretty.
It's good to be a Bills fan. All right, so Nino M on Facebook joined us in Madden 13, won the Super Bowl his very first year, actually beat Ridge in Ridge's last AFL game ever. Very sad. Favorite team is the Buffalo Bills. We give Nino a lot of shit, but honestly, RVD, over time, he's become one of our most reliable owners, and he's also been one of our best recruiters.
Yeah, Nino has been great for the league. He's brought in a lot of help, a lot of guys that that were brought in for the reboot that have actually, at the beginning of it, you never think that they'd make it for Madden 17, but definitely have. He's one of our best owners and all around good for the league.
On we go with KASTA, Matt C. on Facebook. Been with us since Madden 11, another Giants fan. Magik, this is a guy that he's taken some time off. I believe he took off Madden 12, and then he's kind of been hit and miss since the middle of Madden 16. But when he's here, he's one of the most active owners. And really, Madden 16, I think, was more of an anomaly. He had an issue with his PlayStation and Restart. I think he was keyed up to join Restart and be a core member. And KASTA's a good owner, and he made the cut. And he's another guy that I think he's an asset to AFL.
Yeah, one of those guys who's been here from the beginning. So obviously he brings things to the table that keep us inviting him back. Even if you can get into a pretty good fest with KASTA from time to time.
Oh, he's one of the best fest starters.
Oh, yeah.
He's a poker
starters
and a
and fuelers. Even ones that he's not even in, he can add some fire to.
No doubt.
No diggity.
Got the bag in him. Sorry.
Like the way you work it?
Hey!
Hey, how about that?
It's your turn, RVD. RVD, it's your turn. You got to throw. No?
Nothing.
No?
All right, so let's just transition to an AFL original, a very easy decision. RVD, I know it's one of your favorites. Stang Brian G on Facebook, been with us since the beginning, a Dallas Cowboys fan, and just another guy kind of in the stop cheese mold that makes being a commish very easy.
Yeah, I've been in a division with Stang a couple of times, and he's definitely someone that you want in your division because he's easy to set games up with.
I thought you were going to say he's
owner.
easy to beat, but that's okay.
No, we've had some good games. No, he's easy to set games up with. Easy to play, goes by the rules. Definitely one of our better owners.
Stang's an interesting guy. He had a funny Madden 16. He had a couple he's usually a guy that'll make the playoffs once or twice every Madden, and he didn't do it in Madden 16 to my knowledge, but he had a couple seasons where he got off to a really fast start and then faded down the stretch. So we're going to see if he can have a bounce back Madden 17 in AFL. And another Giants fan, E-Dub, he's been with us since Madden 25, and he is a one-time Super Bowl champion, won the first Super Bowl of Madden 15. Stokes, this is a guy that joined us in Madden 25, but pretty much since that time has elevated himself to being one of our best, most reliable owners. And actually, we gave him commish duty near the end of AFL Restart because to help out with advances when RVD stepped away. So just a tremendous asset to the league.
I couldn't agree more. He's a good player, one of our better players, and he's got pretty flexible scheduling. He's active on the Facebook. I mean, he's got pretty much everything you want in an owner, and I'm glad that we were able to keep him here as long as we have.
Gotta say, not a fan of the E-Dub. Feel like he chased away K-Will, kept calling him stupid face. Made him cry, took his ball and went home. Ain't coming back.
It didn't make any sense to me why he would just call him stupid face, but
it'd be in the middle of the day. Hey, stupid face, you still okay?
You gonna?
Yeah, I'm good.
How
All
about,
right, just checking up on you, stupid
how
face.
about his insult of Hadley, Hacksaw Jim Doggett? Not even pronouncing it right, but still one of the best insults ever. All right, guys, let's keep it rolling because for the guys watching the stream can see that Danny made the cut. Danny S. on Facebook. Been with us since Madden 15, a 49ers fan to jump in with Trump and be one of the... We don't have many 49ers fans now that Ridge left, so now Danny's another one to add to that list. Stokes, this is a guy kind of in the same mold as a Hitman, as, an E-Dub, just maybe as a CODY, but just not been with us super long, but super impressive. The restart was my first real interaction with him, and he's a lot like Quinn, where he'll play games at 3 in the morning. You never have to chase him down to find out when he's playing his game. If his game's unplayed, you almost just assume it's his opponent being lazy. I'm really happy to have him part of AFL. I think he's a great asset, and he kicks your ass in Rocket League, so he keeps you in check.
I'm going to ignore the Rocket League comment because I'm going to ignore it. But he's a good Madden owner, so I can agree with that. Move on.
So did you guys do 1 versus 1?
We didn't play Rocket League, sorry. Who's next?
Fine. All right, well, nobody's next at this point. We have 16 names on the list so far. The 4 commissioners: Roman, CODY, Cheese, Trump, Lad Russo, Cheese Jr., Hitman, Nino, KASTA, Stang, Edub, and Danny. From the first 16 names, you see guys like Hitman, you see guys like Danny, you see CODY. I think that tells you that we're going in a little bit different direction this year. It's not, oh, this guy's been with us since Madden 11. He's not obviously going to make the cut. We've got some guys that haven't been here as long that impressed. Cheese Jr., another one, that have impressed us. They make the cut. Roman's another one. And we're just looking for the best 32, not the 32 longest tenured owners. So that's the first half of the list. Let's get on to the second half of the list. Mega John C. on Facebook joined us in Madden 25, and I know RVD remembers this because this was our first PS4 Madden league, and we only had about half of AFL on PS4. This was like a December league, and RVD and I had made the switch. Stokes and Magik hadn't, so we were going to like Facebook Madden groups trying to fill out the league, and Mega was some guy we found on one of those groups, and RVD, he's just been a gem of an owner. He's joined us on podcasts. Another guy that doesn't necessarily have a lot of success, although he has made a couple playoff runs. Super active guy on Facebook, really easy to get along with, and just a great asset to the league.
Yeah, he's been an all-around asset, not just in-game, but out of the game as well, setting up fantasy leagues and doing a lot of other things just to make AFL even more fun outside of just playing Madden.
SJR makes the list. For those of you who aren't aware, SJR is the reason why AFL Restart was as successful as it was. Tracked all of that stuff offline to allow us to do the pre-draft manual rookie draft. It was a lot of fun. Been with us since Madden 11. He's also a fan free agent because he's a St. Louis fan, and he is a one-time Super Bowl champion. Magik SJR is a reliable owner. He gets his games in. He's super helpful when it comes to helping out the commissioners. It's pretty much everything you would like to see from a fellow owner.
Yeah, he's another one of those what'd you call them, autopilot guys?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that has such a negative connotation though. If you're on
I think
autopilot,
it does.
we need a better. We gotta take some time to think about this because that's not a good name. But he's one of those guys that you don't have to worry about getting their game in, and he helps out a lot. You know, in how long have we been doing this? 5 years, 4 years?
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those no doubt guys. You know.
Up until Restart, he'd never been a commissioner, but he's always been a guy that commissioners lean on. So it's just lean on me when you're not. Next, pick 6, Tyler M. Been here since Madden 12, and he is a Bengals fan. Now, this is a guy that will get into it with you on Facebook. He likes to argue, but I think he's a good guy. He's actually, since I've gotten to know him, he's one of my favorite guys here just to have a conversation with, to talk with. I think he's a pretty entertaining guy to talk to, and he's actually a pretty thoughtful guy too. I think he puts on a little bit of an act when he starts to argue with people, but Stokes really, he's active, he gets his game scheduled, and he made it pretty easy to pick him.
Oh God!
Boom.
Well, I mean, he was. I like. He's a funny guy. I like it when he's going at it with Reese and stuff like that. So, I think he's a good asset to the league. Even though he's Canadian, but we can't hold that against him too much. But I thought he was. I didn't think it was any problem with having him in the league at all. He's an easy decision for me.
Bailey makes the cut like there was never a doubt there, though. 3-time Super Bowl champion Scott B on Facebook. Been with us since Madden 12. A lot of guys may not remember this. Bailey may not even remember this, but Scott Warner brought him in Madden 12, for the last couple seasons, took over the Vikings, and then joined us in Madden 13 from the jump, and been with us ever since, has been a commissioner at times, been a podcast contributor at times. He is a Lions fan, and RVD, Bailey's just, he's kind of in that cheese mold where you never have to worry about why his game's not getting played.
Yeah, one of our best owners around, has helped us out with commissioning, even in one of the other leagues. I don't remember exactly which one it was, but definitely one of our better owners. Great player, great guy, fun to have around.
And a talented owner, 3-time Super Bowl champion, always in the playoffs, or at least generally in the playoffs, and tends to make decent playoff runs when he gets there. So the next name on the list is going to be a popular one among AFLers, Matt VANE. Oh, I guess I just gave away his full name, but whatever. Madden 25 was his debut. Another Giants fan. This is a guy, Stokes, that I think a lot of people didn't expect to make the cut because he went away and restart, but like we talked about, he told us what was going on. He was working a summer job. He left his regular house and went back to stay with some family for the summer, which is typical of college kids. And he wanted to try to stick it out, but it just didn't really work out. But he communicated the whole time. And we did our research because there were some times he was away in Madden 16. I wouldn't say this was the easiest decision, if you want me to be quite honest with you. We had to do some research. But we feel pretty confident that his schedule is going to be a little more agreeable with his Madden playing this year. And Stokes, this was one where we believe in the upside of this guy.
Yeah, I think that was one of the biggest things was his availability during the prime Madden year, which was also the school year, and it made sometimes his classes made his availability pretty bad. And we spoke to him, and his availability is going to be better. And that was the biggest flaw. That was the biggest thing to drag him down. So, I felt it was, it would be good for us to have him in the league. Had to throw a drag comment in there, though.
Big drag. He did love those drags, that's for sure. Even when his offense came out flat. All right, guys, Closer made it. Who the hell is Closer, right? Well, that's Justin T. I'll let you figure out what the last name is on Facebook. He told me his nickname is Closer, but a lot of us know him as Justin T because his PSN is Bringin' the Closer, and that's what we're supposed to call him. He's an LA Rams fan, used to be a Packers fan, joined us in Madden 16. And Stokes, this was a guy, and if you guys wonder why I'm going to Stokes here, some of these guys joined us in AFL Restart, and that was really just Stokes and myself around, and the guys that made it from AFL Restart were just that impressive, and he's one of those guys in that group that from day one has been super active on Facebook. Didn't have a lot of success on the field, but it didn't affect his activity off the field. He's also going to join the #DadLifeClub in a couple weeks, so congratulations there and to his family. And he is a great addition to AFL. I'm super excited about his upside as a core AFL owner going forward. I know you agree, Stokes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's a very funny guy on Facebook. He's very active there, and I'm excited to have him in the league from the beginning. Shout out to Reese for bringing him in the league, and I'm very happy to have him in the league.
Yeah, Reese was a guy that he and Nino brought in quite a bit of guys, and Reese was a guy that I leaned on quite a bit during this process, along with E-Dub, and he couldn't. I'm sure Reese wouldn't mind me saying this. Reese had nothing but good things to say about Justin T. Closer as far as if he should be in for Madden 17, and honestly, he really wasn't even in the conversation. That's how impressive he was down the stretch. JD Jeremiah on Facebook. He is a Falcons fan, been with us since Madden 15, brought in by Nino, a Super Bowl champion. I don't remember who he beat in that Super Bowl, though. Stokes, do you remember who he beat in?
I think it might have been a force win game that he won.
He forced something at the end of that game. Forced it to his user.
Oh, Lord.
But honestly, JD has become one of my favorite guys as an owner, as a person in AFL. I think he's a great addition to the league. He's super active on Facebook. He's really good at the game, and he's never a guy you have to chase around and figure out why he's not getting his games in. I'm thrilled to have him in AFL, and I think that he, going forward, is going to be one of our key members in keeping AFL strong. Swag makes the group. Trav R. Madden 11 was his debut. Now, this was a guy that Madden 11, Madden 12 Magik was right up there, top 2, top 3 owners in the league. Super active. Right around the time Madden 13 rolled around, though, Swag started to fall off. Actually didn't make the cut a couple times around Madden 25, I want to say, and then Madden 15, maybe. But when he got back in Madden 16, he had a big bounce back campaign. Super active, even when moving from one location to the next mid-season, still was active. Not the guy that's going to be on Facebook having a lot of conversations, but to me, if there was a comeback player of the year award for Madden 16, Swag would get it, and it's good to see because he's one of our AFL originals, and he started off strong and in Madden 11, Madden 12, and he finished strong in Madden 16.
Definitely. Good to see him, back in the fold and seem to have his schedule in the way that he can be a part of the league now. I think he moved again recently. I don't know if he said that. I was talking to my insurance company real quick. Yeah, so it seems like he's going to be set up and ready to go from the get-go here in 17. So hopefully we get the Swag of old in terms of availability and ability. The more good people we have around, the better.
Mm-hmm. The ability Stokes has not been up to the Swag of old in recent years, but that's even more impressive, the fact that he stays active.
Absolutely. He was one of the more dangerous players, from the time in which I joined AFL, and I don't know what it is. I mean, maybe he lost his swag.
So he is an old Dallas Cowboys fan, but he has a lot of family from the Boston area, so I put him down as a Cowboys Patriots fan. I think he fancies both teams in that equation. So guys, we're at 24, which means we only have 8 spots left. And this is a list of the 24 guys. I'll just go through them again in case you're tuning in late. The 4 commissioners. We have Roman, CODY, Cheese, Trump, Lad Russo, Cheese Jr., Hitman, Nino, KASTA, Stang, E-Dub, Danny, Mega, SJR, Pick, Bailey, VANE, Closer, Justin T, JD, and Swag. I just noticed that I think we left SHAM out this year, but he'll get back with us in Madden 18.
He's kind of old, man. I don't know.
Will he make it?
I don't know. I mean, if he's not going to be in Madden 17, how's he going to prove himself for Madden 18? So we got 8 spots left. Let's find out who get those spots. This one was a no-brainer RVD. Joker, he's been with us since Madden 11. Liam P. on Facebook, the only Chargers fan I believe we have in AFL. Another guy kind of in the SJR mold where he's not a commissioner, but he's always willing to help us out.
Yeah, he's definitely ranks right up there with SJR, Cheese, Bailey, Edub, one of those guys that if you need something, he's going to be there to help you. And he's a great Madden player, great guy, great person to have around.
Yeah, really good player, figures out the game well, and it's always good competition. Somebody's iPod's going off in the background.
Sorry, I got a Snapchat.
Way to go, guy.
You kids and your Snapchat. When I was a kid, we sent letters, and we liked it. We had pen pals.
When I was a kid, we did that too.
All right, another guy that was an easy decision. Magik, I'm going to let you handle this one because while we're all close with him, I know you guys have a special bond, is Prime Reg T on Facebook. Been with us since Madden 11. He is a Redskins fan. Another super easy decision.
Hey, he's one of my favorite guys out here for sure. He watches my volleyball videos. That's how close we are.
I didn't know you played volleyball. You never bring it up.
It's because I feel like you wouldn't care if I brought it up, but he at least pretends to be my friend.
For what it's worth, when the club that you play with posts videos that you're tagged in, I always make comments. Now, they might be insulting to the person you spike on, so I never know if you appreciate those or not. But
I do.
Okay, good.
Yeah. He's he's one of those guys who gets the large majority of his games in. He builds good teams. He's active. So if he's building teams, he's active on the page, trying to set up trades, and he's just fun to have around.
Mm-hmm. Also part of the Dad Life Club. I haven't really been naming off the Dad Life guys as we're going through, but we're 20.
Man, we ain't got time.
It is. We've gotten old.
I'm gonna start wrapping it up.
All right. We only have we are 26, so we have 6 guys left. That's math, Stokes. You impressed?
Yeah, I'm about as impressed as when you explained the UFO to me.
That's an unidentified flying object. For those that don't know, UFO. That's what that means.
Damn.
So, like, if a pass goes, okay, we're just gonna move on. Next guy on the list, Reese.
Like a quarterback.
Hey, Ty God is the man. Speaking of the man, Reese has become the man around here in AFL. Not on the field, obviously, but as far as being active, Reese has been really impressive. He's been with us since Madden 15. Didn't actually make the cut into Madden 16, just because
Come on, Roman.
I think this is maybe a flaw. What's going on with Roman? I got to hear this.
This dude's awareness.
Roman gonna Roman. That's all.
Let me guess. He doesn't realize he made the cut, right?
He did. He didn't.
He didn't.
I mean, he was the first slide. We've read his name 4 different times every time we come to Roman. You're in. Go away. Okay. Roman's always stealing Reese's thunder. So Reese is the Tampa Bay Bucks fan, also part of the Dad Life Club, and this was my first real experience with him. When I first met Reese, I was like, man, this guy's kind of obnoxious. He posts recaps when he wins and kind of goes ghost when he loses. Not ghost as far as not playing his games, although that may have been an issue in Madden 15. I don't remember correctly. But Madden 16, he became, in my mind, one of the best owners we had. He was super reliable, always got his games in, really active on Facebook. Just Stokes, I think he's another guy kind of like a JD, like a Danny, where these guys have joined us in the last couple years, but I think these are our core owners moving forward. Nino, I put him in that group, those guys.
Yeah, I could not agree more. He's been nothing but an asset for the league, and he's provided much fodder, much game fodder, much meme fodder. He's just been great. He's a good sport. He takes on the chin when he loses. He gets ass Madden and get blown out. It's just been a fun year to have Reese in the league. I'm happy to have him there.
He did get ass Madden. Who beat him in that game?
MVPF.
MVP? Awkward.
Yeah. Irk.
All right. Next name on the list. Luca. Matt Luca. He's a half Bills fan. Probably 75% Cardinals fan, 25%.
That doesn't add up to 100%, sir.
Well, I was going to say half Bills, half Cardinals, but he's Cardinals. But he lives in Buffalo, so he has love for the Bills. He says the Sabres are his life, and he and I can talk Sabres because...
What is that?
That's a hockey match. That's the sport where they actually, they get on ice, they skate around, put a puck in the net. Been with us since Madden 16. So he's only been with us during AFL Restart for 3 seasons. But Stokes, by the time this process came around, he was super active, always got his games in. I think he was away maybe a couple times, but I think maybe just once. But when he was, he let us know right off the bat what was going on. That's what we love. I mean, we understand when things come up. Made the decision pretty easy, and this was a guy that wasn't even in a conversation for not making the league. So I think he's another guy. You put him in the group of a guy like a Danny Sanchez. I just gave his full name away on Facebook. He's also really good at Rocket League. Hitman, Nino, JD, Reese, newer guys that I think are going to be the AFL core moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, we're not trying to dominate your life. I mean, if you're going to be gone, let us know. That's all we ask. I mean, we care that you don't play your games, but if you tell us you're not going to be here, that's fine. That's all we can ask for of you. And that's what Luca did for us. And he played his games, and he's good and all that other good stuff. And he likes the Bills, so that always gets you some.
If you like the Bills, you're going to make it to AFL. And we're just hoping Luca was good for 3 seasons in AFL Restart, and I know he loves this one. We're hoping Luca wasn't a fluka. Ching. Nailed it. Nothing. He's also a soccer fan, I believe. I think I got that. Or is that Dan? Is that Quinn?
You mean football?
It's an amazing sport. So,
did you know they did the thing on the Sunday?
hang on, guys. We need to not get off topic here because this is a big one. Flip makes the cut. Mitchell K on Facebook. Been with us since Madden 11. He's a Jets fan. Guys, we're going to be completely transparent here. This was a tougher decision. As my virus protection stuff is just popping up all over the stream. Flip.
It's a sign.
It's a sign that we made a mistake. Never mind. No, Flip has, since Madden 11, been one of our most active owners. He's right up there with a guy, I'd say kind of similar to the Lad Russo, maybe a Stang, but Stang has more success than Flip. Maybe a Mega, where doesn't usually get a lot of wins, but is super active. But something happened in Madden 16. And Flip just I don't know if his heart wasn't in it or what, but he left AFL once in the regular, and then he left AFL once in restart. Just seemed kind of flaky. But RVD, this is one of those where good owner has a great track record prior to 16, and we just didn't want to cut ties just yet. We felt like there was still some upside there, so we're gonna take a chance that Madden 11 through Madden 15 is the real Flip, and Madden 16 was an anomaly.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to take one year because you never know what's going on with someone, their personal life. You don't want to take that 1 year and, completely disregard them when you move to the next Madden. So definitely want to see what Flip has left with him. Hopefully he'll come back in Madden 17 and really be what he used to be.
Hopefully he can flip it around because his name is Flip. God, it's like I have two brilliant brains sometimes. All right, next name, KJ Hantree. I call it the Stokes tree. 4-time AFL Super Bowl champion Kelly B on Facebook joined us in Madden 25. His real life favorite team is the New Orleans Saints. Stokes. He's part of your Han tree, although I call it the Stokes tree. He's one of the best competitors on the field. He's active off the field as far as, Facebook scheduling games. I feel like I'm getting repetitive here, but we try to get as many good owners as possible. And by the time we get to the end of the show, I'm just kind of repeating the same compliments about people. But another one of those dad life guys that, as he's kind of grown through AFL, he's gone from being, single guy. And I don't know if he was single. I think he had a wife or whatever, but, guy without kids to a guy that has kids, and time for Madden has shrunk, but he's always prioritized AFL, never had any issues, and I think he's just one of our best owners here, and there's no reason to expect him to ever fall off, really.
No, not at all. He's my dude, and I'm glad that when I brought him to the league, he's been for the most part as good as you could hope. He's had a few snafus here and there with people, a few bad moments. But other than that, he's been a great owner, and he's made me look good.
All right. Well, I haven't been doing the math here. I think we have 2 spots left, so I think
so.
Sham might be getting nervous. Sorry, Sham.
Should be.
West Side Charles makes the cut. Charles P on Facebook, Madden 11. He's a real-life Dallas Cowboys fan. He started off in AFL Restart, but then something came up, and he had to step away. But, Magik, this is a guy that I think he's always been underrated in AFL as far as how good of an owner he is, because he never really, when it was a chat-based league, I think West was always in conversation for being one of our top 5 owners. Once we switched to Facebook, I feel like West became, kind of, I don't want to say an afterthought, but I think a lot of guys looked at him like kind of like a swag, where he didn't take to Facebook as well as some other guys did. But really, it never affected West as far as getting his games in. He's just not somebody that's going to get on there and start arguments on Facebook. He's going to get his games in. He's going to make trades. He makes a ton of trades, by the way. And I think he's a super active owner. And the fact that he doesn't like to get on Facebook a lot is not something we're going to hold against him.
Definitely. Swag is the exact guy I was going to comp him to. So thanks for taking away 30 seconds of what I had planned to say.
You were going to speak 30 seconds about Swag?
Oh, man, I was ready. I had stuff lined up, and now you guys will never know.
I stole your swag. All right. And then...
I used that joke already.
Not a lot of surprise who the last owner is here is SHAM. Sham makes the cut. Real life Jaguars fan. Honestly, one of my favorite guys in AFL. As far as somebody that's easy, for a commissioner standpoint, but then obviously taking AFL out of it, he's one of my favorite guys I talk to on a regular basis. I've gotten to know him really well since Madden 11. Just super likable guy, super thoughtful guy, really friendly guy. I think he's Facebook friends with everybody that's ever been in AFL or related to anybody in AFL. But there was never a doubt Sham wasn't going to make the cut. Sham's another guy kind of like Joker and Cheese that has never been a commissioner. I think, although I take that back, I think he's been a commissioner for some AFL restart leagues, but he's always been a guy that commissioners rely on a lot, lean on a lot, and he's as good as it gets in AFL. So guys, that's our 32 list, and let's take a look now at the list of guys for Madden 17. And there's going to be some notable names left off, and because we don't hide from things on this show, we're going to go through some of those names that didn't make it to Madden 17. Now, it's worth mentioning, we put a post up a couple, 3 or 4 weeks ago, saying that if you want in AFL Madden 17, you need to comment on this post or like it. We kept bumping it. So if you didn't comment on it, you didn't like it, you didn't get considered. So, I'm trying to think of who are some of the guys that didn't even comment on it. Like Shadow didn't comment on it, I don't believe, but whatever. Journey was a guy, Johnny P on Facebook, that I thought really had, an argument for only being here 1 year, but was so impressive in one season, but he just didn't comment on it, didn't say anything. So it was like, oh, I guess he doesn't want to be here. So that was kind of unfortunate. So let's move on to our list of the top snubs. Okay. Stokes, MVP, broke rule number 1. He beat a commissioner in a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's rule 1, 2, and 3, I guess.
No, let me speak on MVP real quick. So, I don't know. Hang on a second. We got some background noise going on here. Let me speak on MVP real quick. So MVP was only here for 1 season of AFL Restart. So he was kind of like the same position as Journey, where they were here for 1 year, and they both had really impressive years. Never had to track them down to get their games in. MVP would post highlights. Really active guy. Came on the podcast a couple times. But really, if you're only here for 1 season, with the amount of guys we have trying to get in, you have to be perfect. And unfortunately for him, I mean, he didn't have a good look in the playoffs. It wasn't terrible, but it was enough that we felt like maybe we needed to see more from him before we gave him a spot from the jump. I can honestly say, though, I hope this isn't MVP's last run in AFL. I think he's a guy that I think has tremendous upside. I think if he gets another chance in AFL, I think he can become a court owner. But based on what we had seen, I think he put himself in the conversation, but then unfortunately, he had to be perfect, and it's kind of like near the end there were just a couple of hiccups that I don't think were super egregious, but they were enough that it was just like, all right, let's just table this one for now and move on. Stokes, do you have anything you want to say on it since you were directly involved with one of the situations?
No, not really. I mean, it was. I think I've spoken about it many a time, but I mean, it was just unfortunate that was what he chose to go to in the crunch. I mean, I understand the heat of the moment. You want to win the game, and you may not even realize you're doing what you're doing, or maybe he did realize it. And if he did, then it's whatever. He won. He got the bowl. His name will be there forever, and I still got 7, so that's gonna stick in my craw for a bit until I get my 8th. But anyway, it is what it is.
If you get your 8th.
When I get my 8th.
This one's one that kind of bothers me. Guru. Guru was a guy that came into AFL, I think, after Restart started, if my timeline's correct. But Stokes, right when he joined Restart, I'm thinking we got an absolute home run here. He was active on Facebook. He was posting highlight videos to his YouTube channel of his Facebook games. He was, it just seemed like the kind of guy that was just going to really fit in and go above and beyond. And I was thinking, man, this guy is really going to be something special. And then he started to fall out of the playoff race, and he missed a game. Missed another game. And you're like, oh, okay, well, things come up. I know he travels a lot for work, and he would let us know when he was traveling, but there were times he'd miss games, and he wouldn't let us know so much. And then, okay, so next season rolls around, and he comes out, and he's strong. He beats me head-to-head. This is not why he didn't make it, but it didn't help. I'm just kidding. But seriously. And, you know, it's looking good again. I'm like, all right, this guy has some upside. I really believe he has tremendous upside. And, you know, he started to fall out of the playoff race, and he missed a game, and missed another game, and missed another game. RVD, Magik, I know you guys weren't here. I'll throw this one to RVD because it doesn't make sense to throw it to two guys at the same time. That's a tough thing for commissioners when a guy's around and then falls out of the race and then stops playing and starts handing out free wins.
Yeah, that's one of the most annoying things for me as a commissioner to see. You know, you won't, you know, just like I told you with Ladd, I'd rather see guys who can take a beating but keep going and keep playing, because, you know, it really affects the rest of the league when you have someone who's handing out free wins constantly just because they're out of the race. So that's definitely something that you don't want in an owner.
I'd like to see him get another shot in AFL. Stokes, I don't know how much interaction you had with him. I think there is a lot of upside there. I think this might be a situation, Stokes, where it's kind of almost like when you started AFL. Maybe, I know you admitted you didn't know what you were in when you got an AFL. It was just kind of like your second or third league. You played enough games just to get into the playoffs, and then, you know, whatever. You treat it like your second or third league. But then after you hung out for a year or two, you're like, wow, this is the league that needs to be my top league because these guys are legit and they're active and they got podcasts and, you know, this league isn't going to die. And I think maybe if Guru gets another chance and realizes, whatever, Madden leagues may not be for everybody. I'm not trying to act like that this is some great opportunity, but if you want to be in a good Madden league, I feel pretty confident in saying this is a good league to be in. And I hope he gets another chance, Stokes, but as is, it was hard to have him make the cut this time.
Yeah, I think that I can't remember when it was, but I think it was a fest between him and Reese that he used to be pretty active on Facebook. He used to talk a lot and talk on Facebook, and then he had a fest with Reese, and it stopped. It just stopped, and he stopped being active, and that's what I think snowballed and made him just fall out of the ranks. Because as you said, I mean, when he first started, it was great. He was doing the highlight videos. He was a great addition, and then it just changed. And I mean that could be the fact that the season was just starting, and then, you know, things change in life or whatever the case is. But if he wants to be back in the league, I think he will be, and that goes for any of the people that aren't in it. I mean, I think for the last two seasons we've had people leave the league before the league started. So yeah. I mean, it is what it is.
So most of the guys on this list are guys that I would like to see be at top of the wait list. MVP, I'd love to see him get another shot. Guru, I'd like to see him, you know, get another shot, but I need to see more from him before he would be like the top of the wait list. There's some other guys down the list. Unfortunately, at number 3, Shadow, he's got some ground to make up. Shadow, for the longest time, Magik was one of our better owners and was like the original streamer. I know Swag and Drop were the first guys to stream, but Shadow was the first guy to commentate, made it super interesting. Something happened he won a bowl, and it was great. It was super great, and then he just went ghost. We couldn't find him, and he would never play his games, and he'd always be like, okay, guys, I'm getting back into it, I'm ready, and then he'd go ghost again. Came back for restart and played maybe 2 games and went ghost again, and it was just, don't have time. I think maybe it's a situation where guys just getting a little older, getting to a different place in his life, and maybe he's outgrown the Madden Chai's life.
He's hit the mountaintop, man. There's no place to go but down.
Mm-hmm.
He reached his goal. He won one for the land.
I know. First one for Canada. I mean, that was a great moment for him. Just listening to him on the stream, he was so happy, and I was happy for him that he got that one for Canada. But if I would have known what was going to happen to him had he won, I would have been rooting hard against him.
Yeah, I agree, because he was a super entertaining owner when he was here. But unfortunately, we talked about Flip, how he had like a kind of a somewhat down Madden 16. Shadow had a fall off the cliff Madden 16. We couldn't even find him, and it just made no sense to try to put him in at this point. I think we'd need to see quite a bit from Shadow to even take him from the wait list and give him a spot over some of these guys. Kimmy gets a bad rap. I make jokes about Kimmy. I think Kimmy is reliable for what he is. He's never a guy that's going to go above and beyond to schedule games. He kind of waits for his opponent to get with him. His schedule isn't always the most convenient. Super likable guy, super nice guy. You know, if you get a few spots down the wait list, you could always do worse than Kimmy, and I don't mean that as an insult, but he doesn't scream upside, and it's just we've kind of been there, done that. But I don't think Kimmy's ever going to be a guy that we're like, he's never going to get into any version of AFL again. I just don't think it made sense at this point, Stokes, to put him in from the jump.
No, I mean, I thought with Kimmy's schedule changed, that he would be a better owner. And, you know, when he said his schedule was more conducive for playing Madden, I was like, great. I mean, it's going to be the old Kimmy. And he got in the league and he just fizzled out. I mean, that's not to say that he's going to fizzle out the next time, but the next time will be later, I think. And, well, it was pretty late this time anyways. I don't know.
So Kimmy and Shadow would have some work to do to get back in. Number 5 is a guy that I would love to see get back into AFL. I really would. I think he has tremendous upside as an owner. He's good on the field. He's super active. He posts videos. I think he had tremendous upside. I think he was on the way to being a guy kind of like a Reese that we talked about before, where joins us late but becomes one of our core owners. And then he broke a rule. He got kind of a ticky-tack suspension and he bounced, and that's just not a good look. And he had some chances to get back in, didn't take advantage of them, and because of those things, we just couldn't make our final 32 cut. But I think he's a guy that if he's open to coming back when we have an opening, I think if he gets another shot, he has a tremendous chance to run with it. And that's Stebbs. I'm burying the lead there, but RVD, it'd have been tough to get him in from the jump, but I think, I saw enough from him, and I know you saw some things from him that say that if he got in again, maybe he'd be a guy with some upside.
Yeah, when you look at the snubs, you can definitely see that there's a difference between some of the guys that you really like to see get in, and then some of the guys that you're not really sure if they would come back in, or if you'd like to have them back in. And Stebbs is one of those that I really think would come back in and would be good. Just unfortunately, just how he left AFL last time, just unfortunately just didn't sit well.
A former AFL Super Bowl champion, there's 3 of them on this list, didn't make the cut. MVP was one, Shadow was one, and G-Pack, right? It's been a while. G-Pack is one. He didn't make the cut. Unfortunately, he just left early in Madden 16 and basically wrote a big long speech how he was done with competitive Madden. So it would have been tough to get him in. I know he wanted to get back in. He was a good owner while he was here, but just when you leave like that, it makes it tough. And then OD and Berto, AFL Originals. I'd say Berto's probably a little more active than OD, but Madden 16 wasn't a good look for either of those guys. Neither one of those guys really took to Facebook. At times, Berto was one of our best owners in AFL. OD was always kind of like, a C-plus owner who would play his games but never super active. Sometimes you have to chase him down, but I'd say maybe the curtain's closed on OD, and I think Berto is a kind of guy that maybe if he gets another shot, maybe he would run with it. I wouldn't close my mind to Berto getting back in. But that's it. That's our list of 32. That's our list of snubs. And let's move on now. Now that we have our list of 32, is there anything else we need to talk about tonight, guys?
No, we can just close.
No, we're good.
Close up shop?
Right, since we're shutting down, let me go over my hit by a car story.
Well, I got another story you can go over, Magik. It's called the Madden 16 Total Money Spent Story. That's called a transition, fellas.
Ah.
All right.
Look at that.
So Magik did some research. We all know that last year during Madden 16 team selection, we did the randomizer, and guys were paying for different spots. And Magik tracked it all, and what you're seeing on your screen is the total money spent. Magik, you want to break it down?
Yeah. So, we had some Canadian transfers in here. That's why we don't have an even number at the end. So including all their funny money, we came out to 1,052 US American dollars. Buy a lot of pie with that. Can't buy freedom because we already got that.
So explain this to me for a second. VANE paid up, if I'm trying to remember correctly, VANE paid up for the Jets, right? And then he ended up paying even more to Trump to get the Seahawks. Is that how it happened?
Yeah. He bought the pick, and he used that pick to take the Jets.
Which had us all confused because he spent a good amount of money, and it was like, the Jets?
Spent 140. 140 to get the Jets.
And I think he went. He had the Niners to get the Seahawks because that's what Trump wanted was the Niners.
So he had the Jets. He'd sent the Jets to flip, and then he spent 200 and the Niners to get to Seattle. So of the 1,052, 340 of that came from one Matt V.
Big baller.
Now, this doesn't even include Nino selling his spot in general, right?
No, the 1,000 does, yes, but these breakdowns do not.
So somebody really, I know Bailey bought Cleveland just to get a crack at KASTA because they had an argument mid-draft and Bailey just wanted to get in KASTA's division. He didn't spend $145 to get Cleveland, did he?
Oh, Mega, I think, bought the spot that became Cleveland, and then he sold them to Bailey, and they came out to be worth $145.
Okay, so what you guys are seeing...
They had Johnny Manziel, they had Josh Gordon, they had Barnkowski or Gary Barnidge, Joe Hayden, the rookie cornerback who wasn't a shit show yet. So they had some pieces.
Okay, that makes sense. And we are going to get down into this a little deeper. Magic's done more research, and this is kind of a high-level look at it. But as we go on with these team selection type shows, trying to watch my words here, we will. I'm trying to think what the next slide is here. If it's going to be a giveaway, if I should just talk about the process first. We will dig into this deeper. So that's great job, Magic. Great work on this, and I think it's $1,052. That's
right on time, Magic. I'm glad you were on point with getting these stats out.
Was there a deadline?
No, apparently not.
Was there a deadline?
Okay, so $1,052 was because of the randomizer system, correct? Where we would do randomizer and boom, somebody's name's up and people would panic and be like, I'll pay you for your spot.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you look at some of these teams who got bought and you're like, why did that happen? And then you realize, because someone didn't want to get stuck with the last 4 picks.
Right. And I think
just throw $40 at the problem and not deal with it.
Guys like K-Will kept trading down because he wanted Philadelphia all along and he knew they would fall down deep. So the randomizer system with the draft is one option for team selection. The other option was what we did for Restart, which is what we also did for Madden 12 and 13, which is lists where guys will send in their lists to us, and then based on how we ranked owners, which we never publicize, they'd rank lists 1 to 5, and then we would, give the guys with the higher rankings, higher teams on their list. And so the argument basically through this entire process was, do we want to do lists or do we want to do randomizer?
Randomizer. Oh, should we not say our vote?
Magic wants to do randomizer. And Stokes, we kind of we figured out something during AFL Restart about the lists, which may not be as exciting during the off season, but makes the actual competition on the field a little better.
It certainly seemed that way. You didn't really end up with too many stacked divisions like we had in the NFC East and then the AFC North the year prior to that, and I think overall it did make competition better across the conferences. So it was really a difficult decision for me because I love randomizer and I love the drama of the randomizer and I love the competition level of this list. So it was 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other.
But then you have the same amount, Stokes. That's stupid.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Wait, do I? Oh, damn. You're right. Huh.
You know what you need? You need 2 birds in the hand, because then you could get a stone.
And kill both birds?
Nah, and then smash the bush that they were in. Come on, man.
Well, right. If I have the birds, what am I doing with the bush?
Cheese, if you're listening, I got you, bud. What we're going to do for Madden 17 is we're going back to the lists.
Oh.
Each owner will submit a list of 5 teams to a commissioner, Magic, Stokes, myself, RVD, or whoever's dog's barking in the background. I'm guessing
that would be me.
Oh, that's you.
That's a lot better than what I thought it was.
Commissioners will assign teams based on teams, and how this will work is we're going to have 8 shows, And each show we will reveal a division, and that division will be decided by a Facebook poll where people will vote on which division we want to reveal next. And the next show will be a week from tonight, next Tuesday. So what we want from you guys is send your list to a commissioner by Thursday night, by the time you go to bed Thursday, and that gives us Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and Monday to take the list, shape it up, make it a puzzle, and see what we can come out with. So that's it, guys. We're going with the list. We liked how it turned out for Restart. And
Five, yeah.
What'd you
Where'd
say?
you drop?
A list of 5. Did you say a list of 5?
Yeah, list of 5. So,
Hey, oh no, this is not a question for right now. Never mind.
what's your question? Go ahead.
No, this is not a question for right now.
So I shouldn't keep pursuing the answer?
I mean, you can if you want to. I'll ask it.
No, it's okay. I'll trust your judgment.
Okay, so are we gonna? Oh, you said you'll trust my judgment. Okay, never mind.
So, guys, earlier in the show, we teased the fact that we would be giving away some teams tonight. The ultimate letdown for everybody listening is the only teams we're giving away tonight are who the commissioners picked. Because if we're doing a list, it goes by rankings. Commissioners are obviously highly rated. What we didn't want to do is have you guys submit a list with, say, 2 or 3 teams that commissioners already had, and then all of a sudden you've turned in a list of 5 teams and only 2 are eligible. So we thought, Stokes, the thinking here was it just made more sense for us to be transparent about where the commissioners were going. Plus, there's probably some value for people to find out where Stokes is going, and myself, because I'm a Super Bowl champion. But, just you don't want to have, like, if Stokes were going to say, hey, I'm going to take the Eagles, and then all of a sudden somebody turns in a list with the Eagles, it's like, well, they turned in a list of 4 teams. So with that being said, I think let's start revealing where the commissioners are going to be for Madden 17. And we're going to start with you, Stokes.
Go Seahawks.
Stokes is going to Buffalo. Stokes was the Bills in Madden 13. He's generally against taking his Bills because, Stokes, you say you can't play that team with your heart, with your head. With your head, you always go with your heart. But this is a good Madden team anyway. You have Tyrod Taylor, the quarterback, Sammy Watkins, the wide receiver, and Marcel Darius, who I have identified as the 3 best players on the team. And when I say this for the teams, this is who I think are the 3 best players as far as going forward in franchise. It may not be the 3 best overall players, may not even be the 3 best players on the team, but I think the 3 most attractive players on the team. You also have 2 really good young corners in Darby and Gilmore who are going to be there for the duration. The hidden gem on this team might be Zach Brown, a guy they added in this offseason who's going to be a 90-ish speed linebacker with decent zone coverage. You got good offensive linemen. You have a nice young running back in Carlos Williams. You have a couple years left of LaShawn McCoy if you want to go that route. So, Stokes, you're going with your Buffalo Bills. Tell us about the thought process.
It was an arduous process. I started off being gung-ho for another team, and
Seahawks.
Seahawks are, there was a couple other teams that I really liked, and eventually I just came back to the Bills because I'm really not. I find trouble being objective when I'm dealing with the Bills. I find trouble trading. I think I had trouble trading Fred Jackson when I had the Bills a few years ago because it's just Fred, and I'm going to try and be better as far as building the team how I want them and not just with my heart. And I was dead set on not picking the Bills, and then I did, obviously.
Yeah, I think what it comes down to is, Stokes, we're kind of in the same boat. I don't have as much of a problem being the Bills, but Nino can probably speak to this too. Is the Bills are not always this fun in Madden. I mean, there were years when Ryan Fitzpatrick was our quarterback, and the best wide receiver was like 86 speed Stevie Johnson, or your tight end was like Mark Campbell. And the Bills are fun in Madden. You have maybe the fastest quarterback in the game that can actually throw the ball accurately. You have a great young receiver in Sammy Watkins. You have a very good young defense with a good secondary, some good pieces in the middle. Darius Hughes, Brown, who we mentioned, they drafted a couple linebackers in the draft. So I think and they also have Stokes' guy at quarterback, Cardale Jones. 12 gauge. Yeah. So, I think you need to take advantage of this while the Bills are fun to beat them in Madden, because it's not always good in Buffalo. It's usually never good in Buffalo, but at least Madden-wise, it's not always good. So Stokes is going to Buffalo. And that brings us to me. So I am not going back to Buffalo. I used them last in an AFL restart. So my thought process was twofold. One, I know Stokes is a Bills fan. If he wanted to be the Bills, since I was coming off of being them in restart, I was going to defer to him. But Stokes mentioned he had his heart somewhere else. So I had the opportunity to be the Bills. And I kind of wrestled with it because I was like, man, we just did restart. So it was kind of like these exact same rosters with, different rookies. And I just felt like I didn't want to see those same uniforms. Not the Bills. The Bills uniforms are sweet. But like going to Miami and New England and just the same rivalries, the same schedules, the same players. It just felt repetitive. And I'm not trying to bring this up again, but the fact that I did manage to win a bowl when I was there, it just kind of felt like I'd already accomplished what I wanted to. And it just like, okay, I've already done this. So with that said, I went a completely different direction. Going to the Minnesota Vikings, a NFC team. It's a dome team, which Magik and I are very high on.
All about that dome.
Love the domes. Best players. Now this is proof positive that it's best players for franchise because Adrian Peterson isn't listed, but Anthony Barr, freakishly talented linebacker. Xavier Rhodes is one of the many good cornerbacks there in Minnesota. They also have Trey Waynes and Mackenzie Alexander. Harrison Smith is one of my favorite safeties in the game. Hidden gem is linebacker Brandon Watts, who has 90-ish speed. They've got good young running backs in McKinnon. Well, good young running back in McKinnon. I really like their wide receiver core. Some young players. They don't have that one surefire like Odell Beckham, Sammy Watkins type, but they have a bunch of guys that are reliable. And it just fits the way I like to play. I'm not a guy that's going to go out there and throw for 4,000 yards. So for me to pick a team like a Pittsburgh or a New York Giants or a team that just has like weapons galore, it didn't make a lot of sense because that's just not my style. The Vikings have a defense that I think is almost built out of the box. Maybe needs some tinkers here and there, but I really like this team. I think it's a good fit for me. So, and I don't remember who's next out of you two. So we're just going to go to the slide and find out. So Stokes, Buffalo, Vikings, Josh, and it's either Magik or RVD. I don't remember. Magik's going to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Sixburg, please.
Sixburg Steelers. Best players on the team. This was a hard one to come up with because my list was Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, and Martavis Bryant, but I think a lot of people would argue that Ryan Shazier should be on that list. The hidden gem might be Travis Feeney because they have Bud Dupree, they have Ryan Shazier. Those are two 90-ish speed linebackers, and they drafted another one in the draft. So three of those guys. You obviously have Ben Roethlisberger, who will probably be around for 2 or 3 more years. Just weapons galore. That's not even mentioning guys like Sammy Coates and Marcus Wheaton. Coates is a guy that, not as big or fast as Bryant, but kind of in that same mold of big, fast, but, a little rawer. So, good young team. They added Ladarius Green in the offseason. So, by the way, a 90-speed tight end to throw to. Magik, tell us about your thought process. Or did I just do it?
No, that was pretty much it. You failed to mention the uniforms, though.
I think the uniforms are a downside, personally.
I like these standard ones in the slide, but those bumblebee ones, you won't be seeing any of those. But last year I went to Denver. I think that was more of a hard pick. They just also happened to be good. And this year, I was really tossing up a few teams that were going to be good passing offenses because that's what I like to do in Madden, and it's hard to pick better than Pittsburgh here.
Well, what I like about Pittsburgh is last year their weakness to me was their secondary. They just didn't have the corners you liked. And what happened during the season was Ross Cockrell had a good season, so his ratings are going to be better. And then in the draft, the first 2 rounds, they drafted 2 cornerbacks who are over 6 feet that are going to have good speed based on their 40 times, Artie Burns and Sean Davis. So that problem got addressed. So the weakness of the Steelers, if you could call it that, is the defense, and now they have 2 young, fast cornerbacks. They have 2 fast safeties in Mitchell and Thomas. They have the 3 blazing fast linebackers who also have hit sticks, and a good defensive line to go with their MUT-level offense. So Magik wins the lottery with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then the 4th commissioner team, RVD, you had some unfinished business in the city of Houston because you used them in restart, but then you had to step away, and you're going back. And the best players, in my opinion, are J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney, and DeAndre Hopkins. Hidden Gem, Stokes' guy, Lonnie Ballantyne, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. But super talented roster. They added Lamar Miller this offseason. They have good speed at wide receiver with guys like Will Fuller, DeAndre Hopkins, who we mentioned. They also have Jalen Strong, who I believe is Luca's guy. Good all-around team. Solid uniform options with the all-reds, with the navies. They play in a dome. Pretty much everything you could look for in a young they added Brock Osweiler, young quarterback with decent mobility, elite throw power. So just have to boost his accuracy a little bit. Not a lot of weaknesses on this team, RVD.
No, this really came down to last Madden. I got about a season and a half with them, and unfortunately, just life kind of took a turn to where I couldn't play and be consistent with Madden like I usually am. And I think I left AFL early for the first time ever. But I had a lot of fun with them, and I definitely wanted to try that again, and allow more seasons than just a season and a half. So that ultimately is what led me to pick them again.
All right, well, so just to recap, Stokes goes the Bills, Magik goes the Steelers, RVD goes the Texans, 3 AFC teams, and I'm the lone wolf in the NFC, so I like my odds of winning that NFC championship against 15 computer teams at this point. So we'll see how that plays out. 4 teams are down. Guys, get your lists in, and as soon as not as soon as the show's over. We're going to wait until Thursday night when you turn in all your lists, and then we're going to put the poll up. Which division do you want us to reveal first? Whatever has the most votes is the division we're going to reveal, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to this format. I know guys probably were looking more forward to the randomizer, but I really feel like when it's all said and done, we get more guys happy with their landing spot by doing the lists. So we're going to try it out, see how it goes. If it doesn't work out, then come whatever, probably Madden 17 restart, we'll go back to the randomizer. But that's the plan going forward, and I believe we had a rule change to discuss, guys.
Yeah.
So, Stokes, do you want to talk about this rule that we're thinking about that we have decided that we're going to put in for Madden 17?
No.
You want me to do it?
Yeah.
You don't remember the rule, do you, Stokes?
Of course I do. I'm in a position of power. I should know everything.
Stokes is kidding around. So what we have is in Madden 17, if you guys have been reading the previews and watching the videos, they added the practice squad feature. It's pretty cool. A lot of it really, it's just glorified free agency. If you don't know, practice squad are guys that you can practice with, build up XP, but really any team can sign them away from you just like a free agent. So, but it is a cool addition. Guys have been looking forward to it. So with that being said, in years past, what we would do is we would wait for that first not franchise even, because it hasn't been a franchise roster update for a couple years. Wait for that first NFL Week 1 regular season roster, which usually drops sometime after Labor Day, and that's when we would start AFL. But Madden drops August 23rd, and it's not like years past where you'd get a roster update for ranked and everything else offline, but you wouldn't get one for franchise. Like, you get the roster update day 1 when Madden drops, and you can use it for franchise. So what we have decided we're going to do, we're going to use the roster that drops day 1, not the stock roster built in with Madden, but the first roster update EA gives us, which should be day 1, that Tuesday, August 23rd. That's going to be the roster we use for AFL Madden 17. So that's Tuesday, August 23rd. We're going to start with 75-man rosters. So if you guys aren't aware, what this means is you will get to cut your players down. You'll get to cut down from the 75-man rosters you get on the first roster update, cut down to 53, and then what is it, Stokes? You had 7 to your practice squad, or is it 9?
I think so.
7, 9, something in that ballpark. Add those to your practice squad. It's basically like, instead of taking the team over in September, you're taking the team over at training camp. So we're giving you more roster flexibility to make your cuts. So you're not just sitting there hoping that, if you're, I'm just trying to think of it. Okay, if you're the Jaguars, you're not just sitting there hoping that, oh, come on, Jaguars, don't cut Corey Grant. I want him to make the team out of training camp. No, you take over the Jaguars. You decide if Corey Grant makes the team. Now, these are the roster updates as of August 23rd. If Corey Grant gets cut on August 20th, because you're going to already have training camp and some preseason games, you're shit out of luck. But as of August 23rd, that's where we're going to start. And then we're going to start the first AFL week on August 30th. So that gives everybody 7 days to play Madden, to practice. We're actually going to do advances for the preseason games. Now, that'll give you time to, push your trades through online. You can play your preseason games if you want to. We'll do 2-day advances, whatever makes sense mathematically. We'll turn off injuries so you can play your preseason games. Stokes even brought up a good point, like, you can play your preseason game if you want to, quit in the fourth quarter, and then, replay it just to keep practicing with your team if that's what you want to do. We're really not going to care. The only thing we don't want you to do is, sit there and pile up tons of stats and get XP because, don't sit there and score 90 points on each other just to that's lame. But if you want to sit there and, restart your preseason game over and over again, we don't care. Just practice with your team. But so you're going to have 7 days, but the rosters are going to be from August 23rd. AFL will start on August 30th. And that's when week 1 regular season will kick off. And you'll need to be down to your 53-man roster that you cut from 75 and that you built your practice squad from those players. So you have control. You're the general manager. You are making the training camp cuts, not the teams. So we think this is Stokes. I think some guys might look at this like, why aren't we going to use the most updated rosters? But in my mind, Madden, if they didn't drop a roster update day 1, and we were just using the stock game drop roster that may have been finalized from April or May, well, yeah, we'd wait for a roster update. But the fact that we're getting a roster update August 23rd, I think it makes all the sense in the world to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. I know it's exciting to be waiting for the final cut to say, and figure out if this guy's going to make your team. But I mean, we're building our own team, so we should have the opportunity to take over from GM as a GM from day 1, and that's what I think is the best option, because a lot of teams cut a lot of Madden effective players, and they don't care about their Madden ratings when they're cutting them.
They should, but they don't.
They really should.
So that's what we're thinking with that. Obviously, we're just going to put this out there. For those of you that played Madden 16, you realize franchise mode was absolutely broken when it dropped in Madden 16. So these are our plans, but it is all contingent on the game dropping, franchise mode working, and not being any notable bugs that are out there. If the game drops on the 23rd, and people are playing test franchises, and people are like, "Oh man, XP doesn't work." No matter you run your drills, you don't get XP. And then EA comes out and says, hey, we're going to drop a patch on August 31st that's going to fix that problem. We're not going to be like, well, we said August 30th we're starting. We're going to use common sense. But our plan going forward is rosters from August 23rd or the first rosters that drop with Madden. We assume you'll get one that day. And we're going to open up the league that day. And then we're going to get advanced to the regular season on August 30th. The other thing this does is, since Madden usually does put out a weekly roster update, the Corey Grant example, I think, is the best one. If somebody takes Corey Grant, and let's say he got cut after the 53-man cuts, which is, possible because, Denard Robinson, TJ Yeldon, Chris Ivory are there. It's possible he gets cut. If he gets cut on August 30th, and then the Saints sign him on September 3rd, whoever the Saints owner is going to be like, no, we need to wait for the next roster update so I can get Corey Grant. This eliminates any conversation. August 23rd rosters. Obviously, if something happens and we have to hold off starting because of a bug or whatever, then we'll push back and use whatever the most updated rosters is at that point in time. But going forward, August 23rd rosters, August 30th start. And I think, guys, that is the end of our slideshow. So we have our 32 owners. We're going to have everybody turn in lists, send us Facebook messages by Thursday, by the time you go to bed on Thursday. Unless your name is Danny or Dan Q, HITMAN, because these guys go to bed at 8 in the morning the next day. Just have them to us by midnight. And yeah, we'll start doing shows next Tuesday. I think we're going to try and knock out 2 or 3 shows a week. Maybe three is what we settled on. So it'll take us 3 weeks or so to knock out all these divisions, and we'll be off and running by August when Madden will be coming close. So Any final thoughts, guys, on anything we talked about tonight?
No, went about how I expected. Well, how are we doing on time?
Well, if we're trying to do a 2-hour show, we have a half hour left, but I don't think.
I would just asking for.
Okay. Magik, any thoughts from you tonight?
I'm tired, guys.
You're tired?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Sleeping.
interesting. RVD, any final thoughts from you?
I just got to remember here at AFL, we don't do things the same from one season to the next. So just know that this is a new season, new things.
And then I want to reach out again to the guys like MVP, Guru. I don't know. I mean, he didn't ever say anything, but I don't know if Journey was wanting in or not. Stebbs. I'll throw Berto in there. You didn't make the cut, guys. It's unfortunate, but this isn't the end of the line. There's upside there. We see upside with you guys. You know, there's upside with guys like Kimmy and Shadow and OD. But, you know, like, I hope you guys don't look at this like you were booted from AFL. That wasn't the case. We could only keep 32. We felt like we made the best decisions we could. They were tough decisions, and I hope that if a spot opens, I think spots will open before the game even drops. It's just the way things tend to go. I hope that if a spot opens, that one of you guys would be willing to take it, because you guys would certainly be at the top of the list, I would assume. So I hope you guys don't look at this as the end of your AFL line, but if you do, I completely understand. So that's it for Stokes, for Magik, for RVD. This has been the owner selection and team selection process show. Long name. It's going to be up on YouTube tomorrow, and we will be back on the air next Tuesday with our first.
See you next Tuesday.
First 4 owners getting their teams, unless it's somebody that's going to one of our divisions, and then it would be only 3. So maybe the strategy, guys, is avoid the divisions that we selected, because you'll get more of you included. So there's the strategy.
I have a feeling that the NFC East would be the first division to select.
Oh, I think it's going to be NFC West. I'd be willing to put money on that. I think everybody wants to see who's getting Seattle.
What? I think everybody wants to see who's getting the Giants. So
Yeah, Giants would be a top one, just because there's so many Giants fans. A lot of people wanting them. That might be pretty interesting.
What do you think, Magik? What's the first division that's going to be voted for?
I think that we have enough Cowboys fans in here that the East is going to have 2 very highly sought-after teams there.
All right. Well, interesting. I think the Seattle, Arizona, the draw of those 2 teams will probably win out, but we'll see what happens. For all we know, it could end up being the AFC West. So, all right. Well, and don't forget, guys, Magik, Stokes, and I have a nice little off-season project we're working on, and I believe the first version, you'll remember what I'm saying as I'm talking here, the first version of that series that's going to be diving into AFL history. Ringing a bell yet, Magik?
Yes.
AFL history series.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, boom. Okay. We'll be dropping maybe even late tonight or early tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. And until next time, we'll talk to you later, AFL.